So today, we'll be doing what my first video was supposed to be. So, picture this. November 2019. I'm seriously considering making a YouTube channel. And I thought, you know what the best way is to make a Thanksgiving special. So, I didn't know how to screen record at that point. So, I actually took a video with another device. That is terrible. So, instead we'll be showing it with this. So we'll be doing it again. Let's start Granite's T-Series. Subscribe to PewDiePie!
Join Kids Hat family.
I can already tell this is going to be awful. Wait. Okay. Let them describe themselves.
Tofu, please.
Who names their kid Tofu? I mean, seriously, who names their kid Tofu?
Your breakfast first. No, I want to play first.
Okay, this is breakfast. So why do they have popcorn, ketchup, and bananas? I mean, is that what most people have for breakfast? Leave me and tell me in the comments below. And also, who has the exact same picture with a different color background in the house?
I don't like it anyway. Tofu, it is not nice to leave your food like that. You should be thankful to your food and eat it respectfully.
Is that the phone ringtone? I think it is. Also, what is this with bananas?
The first Thanksgiving. This is a very old story. It is from the year 1620, when a group of pilgrims came from Europe.
They called themselves Puritans, not pilgrims. They were, let's say, very, very religious. Now, I've been on the replica of the Mayflower. It does not look like this.
A ship called the Mayflower to the east coast of United States.
Of United States, not of the United States. And even if they said of the United States, that would still be terribly inaccurate. As I'm sure you know, there was no such thing as the United States in 1620.
We have reached this new land.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, he is my new favorite character. I mean, I love this guy. Oh.
And we shall make it our home now. Let us call it Plymouth.
So, it's actually a really interesting thing where Plymouth was the name of the city that the Mayflower sailed from. And originally it was called the New Plymouth. And I've been to Plymouth Plantation, so I know all of this. Then they just shortened it to Plymouth. So, that's an interesting bit of history for you.
Yes, and this big rock by which Plymouth is recognized will be called the Plymouth Rock.
So, I don't believe that the Pilgrims landed at Pilgrim Rock. There's no definite answer to say, evidence to say yes they did or no they didn't. But what I do know is I have seen the quote-unquote Plymouth Rock, and it doesn't look like this.
By which Plymouth is recognized will be called the Plymouth Rock. We shall make a settlement here.
And so the pilgrims got busy trying to make a settlement in their new home. But they had arrived in the peak of winter with little resources and your food.
Yes, because some genius thought it would be a good idea to take no livestock, no grains, not even a fishing rod. Oh, but one guy did bring 120 shoes, so, I mean, who can really blame them if they didn't have room for that stuff?
Oh, this is such a difficult winter. We have almost no food. The men go and catch whatever fish they can find in the freezing lakes, but it is not always enough.
Yes, and a sickness has taken over our people. We have lost so many strong men and women already.
Actually, the women stayed on board the ship for the first winter. That's a very little known fact. They didn't come to the settlement. And also, I've seen houses from this era in Plymouth and around Plymouth. They never have windows like these. They're always tiny glass windows because technology wasn't far enough to make big window panes.
It is very difficult without proper food and supplies to take care of them.
Yes, look at what happened to our brother James Chilton and his wife. They've both died, leaving behind little Mary Chilton.
Also, that is not what they would have worn. Corsets didn't exist at that period, and the Pilgrims would probably have flogged her for not having a dress coming up to here.
Poor Mary, she's only 13 years old, but without her mother and father to take care of her, we will have to make sure she is safe. And so Mary was taken under the care of all other pilgrims.
The houses did not look like this.
But it was a hard sickness, and people died from extreme cold, lack of food,
Can I just say really quickly? They did not bury them like this. They either ate their corpses or buried them and put wood graves. They didn't have quartz to make these pretty gravestones.
People died from extreme cold, lack of food, and the sickness that had come over their settlement. This meant Mary had to work hard. Many of
Do they think that this is what they actually wore back then? 90s glasses, turtleneck sweaters, and printed fluorescent flower t-shirts.
older women amongst the pilgrims had died,
Oh my god.
and the remaining work had to be shared by everyone.
Look at these guys! Yep, we're starving to death and our family has died, but we're happy!
Mary took care of cooking and laundry for the men and boys whose wives or mothers had died. Then one day in March,
March in Massachusetts does not look like this. I'm just saying.
then one day
I've been there in April and it's still snowing.
in March,
Oh my god, how did they get away with this? This is so racist. Oh my god. You'd think these are the mascots of the Redskins instead of an actual portrayal of Native Americans. And look at this guy. What is he, Greek?
two strangers called Samoset and Squanto visited the settlement. They were native Indians.
Indians. Huh, in T-Series, are you trying to make it look like India was farther than it was at that time, they preferred to be called Native Americans, not Indians.
Lived on the land.
Hello, settlers. Welcome to your new home.
Oh, to be precise, what they'd probably be like is, "Hello, settlers, let us put an axe in your head."
Thank you. Who are you?
And let us shoot you then.
Samoset. I am the leader of the Abenaki people, and this is Squanto from the Wampanoag tribe. Hello, Samoset and Squanto. How is it that you speak such good English? I have had experience with other settlers who know English.
Wait, what? The closest settlement that people spoke English was Jamestown, Virginia. That's like a 30-hour car drive from Massachusetts. What?
We see that we are having trouble with food. Squanto here can teach you how to grow food on this soil.
That darn Squanto! Look at him. He knows how to grow food.
Teach you how to grow food on this soil.
And so the pilgrims made new friends and learned how to grow food in their new home. They learned that using fish as fertilizers will help their crops grow better. With the help of Squanto and the other people of his tribe,
So racist. How did they get away with this?
the pilgrims grew a healthy crop of beans,
Okay.
pumpkin,
Their pumpkins probably didn't look like this. They looked more like gourds back then. There's a great OK to Be Smart link somewhere on the screen that of what Thanksgiving would have looked like at that time.
and corns.
Corns. Yeah, not corn. Corns. Yeah, this is what pumpkins probably look like at that time.
To celebrate the harvest, the pilgrims invited King Massasoit of the Wampanoag tribe to the feast. King Massasoit's men helped the settlers hunt for the feast.
Okay, that's true.
And large feast of corn, roasted meat,
I like how they didn't say turkey in particular, because the most likely food that was the main course was either eels or venison.
pie, fruits was laid.
Honestly, why are there bananas? The people at T-Series must have gone bananas. I mean, bananas, if they were eaten at all at this time in, like, the New World in England, which they weren't, were super expensive. They were from South America and Africa, and that was the only place. They didn't have, you couldn't grow them in America at that point. So, they had to be shipped up on a ship from South America. Also, pies at this time weren't seen as desserts, but main meals. So, instead of, like, pumpkin or apple or cherry at that point, you'd have been more likely to see venison, game, duck, eel pies than this.
Pie, fruits was laid. The pilgrims dedicated this day to getting together with friends and family,
In South America.
thanking God for the abundance of good food
Yeah, did I mention that the pilgrims were very religious?
and loving people in our lives. I get it now, Tia. We should be thankful for the abundance of food we have. I shall respectfully eat whatever is served to me. That is so wonderful, Tofu. I am proud of you.
So, if we look here, we can see that the comments are turned off, but they didn't used to be. And I left my first comment here. It was quite an angry rant about it. Okay, moving on to the next one.
A bit faster, do you think? A bit faster. 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 4. So, this was the one that I originally did, and this will bring back some memories to me, because I filmed a video for this.
Hi.
This looks much more what the Plymouth Rock looks like, the one that they have in Plymouth, than that other one.
My name is Plymouth. Plymouth Rock.
Also, just so you know, it's inaccurate that rocks talk. Just so you know.
Now, you might just wonder how a rock ever got a name like Plymouth. Well, let me tell you how it all happened. The year was 1620.
Okay?
It was a normal day for me sitting on the beach, getting some sun, minding my own business when lo and behold, along comes...
So, this is the 1801 Union Jack, and if it was the 1707 Union Jack, I might spare it. Because even though this is 1620, the Union Jack was made appearances way before that. But this flag and this flag and this flag are inaccurate. This flag is what they probably would have flown. Also, I made a whole video on the Union Jack. It's somewhere on the screen.
Oh, and can you believe it? As big as I am, it bumps into me. Ow! Who said that? I think it was The Rock. The
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Rock?
Yes.
Oh, whatever. Let's plant the flag, shall we?
Again, this is the wrong flag.
I do hereby name this place Plymouth. Very nice. And what about a name for the rock? I do hereby name this rock Plymouth Rock. Is that the only name you know? Sounds great to me. Let's go. And so the pilgrims got off the boat and began the hard work of setting up a settlement in the New World. Ouch.
Again, the women stayed on board.
Now, I don't know whose idea it was
Again, the houses don't look like this.
to try to build a settlement at the beginning of winter, but needless to say, the pilgrims had it pretty rough.
Oh, look at that gun, Bobby! It's a cap lock, not a matchlock, which was the only thing that they would have had at that time.
What's your hunting? I'm hungry. Fish fillet, anyone? Ugh. Oh, Lord, please have mercy on us.
Finally, the long, hard winter passed and spring came, my favorite time of year. The sun was shining, the grass was growing, the birds were singing, and the pilgrims went out to plant.
Number 1, dig hole. Check. Number 2, you don't really know what you're doing, do you? I admit it. I'm not much of a farmer.
But God had heard their prayers
I mean,
and sent
this is from the 60s and it's less racist. Oh my god.
on one of the locals to help them, an English-speaking Indian by the name of Squanto.
Did Squanto really speak English? He might have. Actually, now that I think about it, he might have. I'm guessing he didn't learn it from the Jamestown settlement, but that's interesting.
Would you like some help?
Yes, please.
So with lots of hard work and working together with their new friends, the Indians, by the end of the season, they had an abundant harvest.
God, we thank you for our families and friends, and for thy many blessings.
Amen to that.
Hey, we should do this every year.
And so began the tradition of Thanksgiving, when family and friends get together to fellowship and eat and thank God for his many blessings.
Okay.
And as for me, for some reason they decided to give me a new home where lots of people come to visit me and take pictures.
I am a bull.
Again, I've seen the Plymouth Rock. It's down by the shore, and it's on the natural water line, and it has kind of something like this above it, but it isn't on the ground.
Rocks, most truly blessed. Happy Thanksgiving.
I actually like that one. I'd rate that a 7 out of 10. And the other one was, I'd say, a 2 out of 10. So, here's some fast facts with Sven. So, actually, after Thanksgiving, they killed Squanto and his tribe. Yay! Thanksgiving was a holiday before this in England with Puritans, and instead of a hearty feast, it was a fast for 3 days. Yikes, I'm glad someone changed that. There's a Canadian Thanksgiving, and that comes from basically the same place where a bunch of Jesuit priests were trapped in the snow, and the natives helped them, and they had a feast. So, there's a Canadian holiday of Thanksgiving in October. Well, my Farm Free Fanatics, that is the end of it. Good night.